Just a few sparkly touches can turn a finished page into pure magic. Let me show you how I did it. Hi coloring friends, I'm so excited because today I want to show you how I add my favorite finishing touches to this page here to make this truly magical. This beautiful witch, by the way, is from Coco Wyo Witches, which is actually one of my 10 books which I want to finish eventually. So this page is extra special to me because it means that I'm getting one page closer to my target actually. I just finished coloring her yesterday, but I saved the best part for today so that I could share this with you. In the next few minutes, I'll be adding a soft blue rim light to create that eerie glow that is just perfect for this spooky season all around her basically. Light from the moonlight. I will also add golden glitter accents on her dress. You see here's still some white, which we need to get rid of. Tiny red glitter eyes on the bat's eyes. And a few more sparkly details to make this page come alive. Before we jump right in, let me quickly show you all the magical tools that I'll be using today. So for the moonlit glow, I have this beautiful perfect pearls in a soft light blue. I love this color. It's perfect to create that delicate rim light effect that makes everything feel a little bit more mystical. And I never found anything comparable to this product. That's why I'm still using it. Then for the sparkly details on her dress, I will use some watercolors. I have, this one is by Coliro, this green one. And then I also have another one by Lisilinka. I just want to say to you, just use what you have. There are so many different brands. They are all really good. And don't go out and buy something when you have already something. So use what you have in your stash. I mean, a golden watercolor, most of us have actually. However, those shimmer or glitter paints, they are just stunning when the light hits them. I love them. So, to add some extra fine glitter on her skirt and blouse, I'm using, for example, this Aqua shimmer brush by Nuvo. You could also use Wing of Stella, whatever you have. There are some from Spectrum Noir. Just a soft, fine glitter particles. Something that is quite similar is this watercolor from the Art Spirits. It's called Twinkle, which is just the perfect name for what we want to do. So this one will last me forever, I think. So once this is used up, I won't rebuy any of those brushes because then I will just use this watercolor here. So for those little pops of magic, I will use Stickles, red, for the bat's eyes, and then these diamond ones for extra shine on her dress, basically. So, and then, as a final finishing touch, I will use some glossy accents for her shoes to make them extra glossy. So, let me go through some tools. To apply the watercolors, I just use some brushes. I have a fine detail brush here, and then I just have this brush to apply this glitter here to the dress. This is already a little bit torn, so yeah, don't use your best one maybe, but for the fine details we definitely need a detailer. So then of course a cup of water, a pipette, and that's basically all. So with all our sparkly treasures ready, let's bring some magic to this page now. So I'm getting started with the perfect pearls here. This is basically in powder form. So what I usually do, I just take a little bit of the product, a little bit of the powder and put it here into the cap. And then I will just add a drop of water. So I'm just mixing it up with a brush until I have a nice consistency. And then I can start with my rim light effect. And I want to add this basically all around her. So I will start here on the witch's hat. And it's such a fine effect that it's sometimes hard to see, basically. So I think that I have a little bit too much water here actually in my mixture. So I'm just adding a little bit more of the powder. So basically, if I would find a nice watercolor, then I would just use a watercolor. But this Perfect Pearls is basically the best color that I found for this type of magical rim light effect. Like just this very nice bluish color. And then you just add a very fine line around your items here. I always go in a little bit, I extend the lines a little bit. And sometimes it's best to barely touch the image to create a very nice thin line. Especially on elements like the hair, for example. So no, I really have too much on it. You can see it here, but the thing is, you cannot take it away. You will just smudge it. And so you have to be very careful. Sometimes it's really better when you have almost nothing on your brush, so you can hardly see what you're doing. You can just see it in the light, basically. So it's not so easy to get the perfect consistency. So next I want to add some sparkly glitter watercolor here on this part, which I left white, and on this little bat. So on the little bat I want to have the green one, and on the strings and also here and on her skirt I want to have this golden one. So I will activate both by adding some water, and I have to say that the Coliro one takes a couple of minutes actually. So you always have to check out. There are usually some instructions, and then it takes different time for your colors to activate. This Coliro one here, I found that this takes actually quite long, and it needs to be quite a gooey consistency, so not watery at all, otherwise it won't work very well. On the other hand, this golden one that I have here, I just add a drop of water and I can go for it directly. So there is no great activation time. This one I can just start to use. So I will start with the golden accents and give my Coliro paint a little bit of time. So I will just, mix it a little bit. So, and then I just let it sit for a while. I'm just really mixing this well, and while I'm doing this, it also gets ready and I can use it. You can see that it's immediately quite of a kind of like a thicker consistency. So, and then I load my brush quite well, and then I can just start to add in this little detail. Here again, make sure that your brush is maybe not too much loaded. And when you come to an area where there is already color, it can be actually you have to be careful that it doesn't, you see what happened there? It then, once it all clumps up, so to speak. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, be a little bit careful. So we are starting with the watercolors here basically, so that they can dry. Because there will be some effects that just need much more drying time basically. So this was this thing. I also want to add it here on her belt, so to speak. So I think I just do these lines first. And again, when you touch your page quite softly, then your line is also going to get softer. So don't press too hard. I also want to add some effect down here on the skirt with this beautiful golden glitter color. So next step, I want to add in this little bat accent here on her dress. This is how this looks before. I let this actually sit for a couple of minutes and now it's really thickened up basically. So. And that's all that we needed the detail brush for. Now let's work with our Aqua shimmer, or maybe you have Wink of Stella or something like that. Yeah, I will always give it a nice shake to really mix up the sparkles inside. I would just apply it here to her skirt, to her underskirt basically. And without the right angle, it might look to you like there's nothing happening, But this liquid actually contains a very fine sparkle. And of course, the nice thing with your brush pen is actually that you have quite a good control where you want to apply this. So that's nice about this product. And now for her blows, I actually want to add in this glitter watercolor by the Art Spirits, which is called Twinkle. So I will add again a drop of water. And yeah, this one, I like to have the consistency quite watery, so I don't let it sit for very long. I'll just mix it. The watercolors by the Art Spirits are quite hard, so I let it sit for a moment. But since I don't want to have or want to add a lot of sparkle, I want to have it very watery basically. So I've loaded my brush, I think, enough, and I'm just going to add it right to her blows. You have to be careful that we don't activate the other glitter colors that we have around it, so don't want to go too close here. Actually, I think this adds a little bit of a nicer glitter compared to my shimmer brush from Nuvo that I have just used. Oh, I think the black from the backside is peeking through a little bit, since the page is getting a little bit wet here. So let's be quick with this step. Don't want to have it too wet basically. Yeah. Okay, and now I will just let it dry, and then we can compare it. So now, next step, I'm going to add a little bit of Stickles. So I'm going to get started with the Diamond Stickles. The Diamond Stickles is perfect when you don't want to buy so many different colors, which is not needed. Basically, Stickles is available open stock. That's what is nice about it. And you know, I would just recommend to get something clear like the diamond or stardust or something like that, which is very versatile and you can use it on almost everything. While those colored Stickles, they are quite limited in their use, so I wouldn't recommend to get them all because they are quite expensive. It is your personal choice, of course. So I'm just adding a few extra dots here and there on the blouse and the skirt. Especially I like to do something like that with when it comes to colored Stickles or so. Then it is a little bit extra special maybe. But just some drops here and there, which add a little bit of extra basically. So. And then also on the skirt here, So, like so. And you know, the Stickles maybe needs 1 or 2 hours to dry. When you don't use it in big areas, rather small accents like here, it dries rather quickly, I would say. So I will show you the exact look just after. It just needs to dry now. And as long as it is wet, you really cannot see the sparkle. So I will show this just later. But now I'm going to add red Stickles. This is actually rhubarb. I don't have a real red Stickle, so I'm just going to use this. And I want to use this on those little bats as some red glowing eyes, basically. So, and by the way, those Stickles, often they clog, so sometimes you need a needle, and it's wise to just check them out. But this one does flow and work, so always test your flow before you start. And then I will just move my page a little bit over. So, and then I just add a tiny little dot in those bats' eyes. So really don't need a lot. I do have 2 more up here. And 1 down here. Yeah, and that's it basically. I think this can add a little bit more. Okay, perfect. It's hard to focus on them, but yeah, it is just, you know, here. You can see it, okay. So the last step is I want to add some glossy accents to her shoes. So let's go here. And yeah, glossy accents, usually it stocks. So I will just quickly test it. And yeah, no flow, nothing. It's always the same with this thing. So usually you just need a little needle, a little pin to unclog this. Okay. And then you would just add it here onto your shoes for some extra sparkle. The flow is still not perfect here, to be honest, but trying to work with a half and try to spread it a little bit with the, and I went over a little bit, so it's best when you have a little Q-tip nearby, and then you can just take away as long as it is still wet. And then we are going to add a little bit onto the other shoe as well. To give them nice glossy shoes. And the glossy accents really need the longest to dry, so I will leave my book open overnight, let this completely dry, and then, you know, glossy accents is perfect to use on shiny shoes or glossy shoes, glasses, glass bottles, liquid. This is where this is really a nice thing to use. So, and here's the finished page. Sparkling under the moonlight and full of little magical touches. I hope you enjoyed watching me bring this witch to life as much as I enjoyed creating her. Remember, it's the little details that make your pages truly shine, and don't overdo it. I did a little bit more for this tutorial, but always remember, less is more. Thank you so much for coming along with me today, and Happy coloring!